may take me a minute to gather my thoughts, but uh,
Okay.
one of the points that I had made to Tracy in the conversation uh, had to do with how our role or gifting comes about, and I think the statement I made had to do with uh, a lot of the things that we suffer um, early in age is really where this starts. So I guess the best way for me to say it would probably be just to look at when I look at my role around here, I have certain sensitivities. Certain things will cause me to respond in a real stand up kind of way, and it won't slide. And so it's like, well, that natural propensity to stand up and be sensitive along certain lines uh, could be traced all the way back to some of the stupid stuff that happened when I was really young. And one of the things that I had a challenge with was there were a lot of things that on the surface, if you were to look about it, other people looking on, they would say, "Wow, he's really intelligent," or "Man, he has a great sense of humor," and they would see these things as assets. These things that about that were distinct about my identity. This is who Randall is he responds like this, and what have you. The problem with that was whenever I had a challenge, uh those things about my personality which were considered an asset, did those things were not really an asset whenever I got in trouble. And so in order for the identity of who I was to become an asset, I had to understand more about the the damage or the things that were a tragedy. I noticed Tracy posted something about the difference between fair and just, which is kind of funny because uh, whenever I had to make sense of who I am and why I respond the way I do, uh, I would have to look back. And whenever I look back at the stupid stuff, there's this question that looms, and it says, now why in the hell do I have to go through this shit? And I couldn't. I just couldn't get anywhere till I made sense of that. Well, in order for me to make sense of it, I had to understand my need for justice. And I don't know, Tracy, if you remember saying this, but uh, one of the conversations we had 13 years ago or so, I found to be it really stuck with me, and that was how we are made in the image of God. And one of the images of God has to do with his sense of justice. He won't let anything go without justice, without judgment. And uh, I had to look at my own need for that sense of justice. And when you're trying to see a sense of justice while you're looking at the shit you have to suffer, that could be that could be kind of a real challenge. But ultimately, the only reason why I could confidently say I know what my role is now is by looking at reconciling some of the injustice of those things and understand the relationship of those tragedies and how they make me who I am and the role that I play today. And I'm sure some of that makes sense, but what are you guys hearing?
The part I did hear would be, I guess you were trying to tie in the parts of justice and judgment to your experiences of being made in the image of God. How some suffering, I'd say at the time, based off of your personality traits, your attributes, those things, the suffering you went through didn't make any sense. Some of your, what you would call strengths, were shown to be almost a weakness. But the thing that again stuck with you is whose image you're made in, and that justice or judgment is never not going to happen. And that's what reconciles the physical emotions that go with suffering. That's, I guess, the little bit I was hearing.
That's good.
I think part of what Randall brought out was that the gifting is developed, or I would say developed or actually formed through our the things that we experience or the things that we suffer. It has to be, if you actually suffer something, you go through something. Now, I hate using the word suffer, but if we actually go through certain experiences that are adverse to us, and we process those experiences in a negative, then it doesn't come, then the gift is not developed. That's how I would say it. If what I, when I start seeing those particular things that I have gone through and understand the positive of that, what Yah was doing and all of that, then to me the gift is being developed. That's kind of ties into what Randall was saying. But also, he brought up, the post the text that I put in the group, and I asked the question, what was the difference between fairness and justice? The first question I had was, is God fair? That's a question I want you all to answer. Is God fair?
I gotta start off. I would think the answer is no. I would say no.
All right, you say no. Nate, why would you say no?
I think there are a lot of things that happen throughout the course of the Bible in terms of my understanding now that wasn't necessarily fair. And I think it leans more towards being just and not being fair. Being fair, if I could explain it like really briefly, I think being fair is like making sure that everyone has access to the same thing. But the reality of the situation is everybody doesn't need to have access to the same thing. So that's fair.
Interesting. This can be a very interesting conversation in this area. Good points, Nate. Someone else. Do you think God is fair?
I don't think so. This is
Right on. How come you
started.
don't think God is fair?
No, when I think of fairness, I think of a one-to-one sort of thing, always trying to keep a certain balance. And I think that the way that humans think about that fairness, um, I don't think that God operates that way. Um, like, oh, if one good thing if you do one good thing, then one good thing will come to you. That's often what I think that people see fairness as. And I don't think that it works that way. I think that fairness can be kind of short sighted, whereas justice is a bit more long term and can extend beyond multiple generations. So I don't think God is fair, but I would say that God is just.
Okay. I'm getting a picture of how y'all are seeing fair and just. Somebody else. Michael, do you think God is fair?
Well, first I would have to ask you, when you ask that question, are you using the Greek word fair?
um, I am using it probably being a neutral. So when we say Greek word fair, I think that that's what Darvier was bringing out, how general society looks at fair is like this. And she's saying it's not that. So she's pointing out it's not the Greek word fair.
Yeah,
So
I agree with Darby. I think that yeah, I looked up. I was curious. I looked it up, the etymology, and fair is 9 times out of 10. When I skimmed over it, it was describing a woman being fair, and I looked for the root, and it just said beautiful or handsome. So I think, and then I looked up just in Hebrew is administering law.
Interesting. Administrate law. Very interesting. Okay. How many of you had a chance to read just a little area, Exodus 6? Did anybody read that when I posted it? And I pull it up real quick. Exodus 6. It starts off and it says, Then the Lord said unto Moses, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land. And God spake unto Moses and said unto him, I am the Lord. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty. But by my name, Jehovah, was I not known to them. Let's see. And it says, And I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage, wherein they were strangers. All right. So I was wondering if anybody read that. So the first question that I had was, is God fair? What's the difference between just and fair? Michael kind of gave a little bit of some definitions, but what's really the difference between, because the word can be used almost synonymously. The God is just. The God is fair.
I'd like to take a stab
Go ahead.
at making the distinction. The one thing that I tied both words to was the word judgment. If you're going to have proper judgment, you're going to be fair. If you're going to have proper judgment, there's going to be justice. Well, the fair in my mind has to do with how you gather the information and how you put it together. Are you balanced? Are you balanced with how you gather that information and how you put it together? But in judgment, that's only one part, which is to assess the problem. Whereas justice is the actual administration of the law or the correction of that thing which is fair.
Okay. Nate kind of gave a little bit of, I can't remember what he said now. My mind's going in and out. That's why I said it would be slow. But he kind of gave a, I think, picture, kind of a good picture of fair. I like kind of how he said it. When we look at, does anybody know? I don't think everybody here, I don't expect everybody here to know, but the scripture that I read said that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew Yah as, when I read it, I'm going to do it in the Hebrew, El Shaddai. That's how they knew him. So that's one of the names of God in Scripture. And you would say El Shaddai. I say El Shaddai. I don't know if I pronounce it right. But they didn't know him as Yahweh. Can anybody to me describe what they think El Shaddai is?
I would say that El Shaddai is how close we can get to God. I would say that El Shaddai, Yahweh, and all that is more of our perception of justice and fairness and how we can receive that from God more than it is just a name. So when he's saying El Shaddai, I'd say the difference is that they can see him in more of a just standpoint and not so much a fair standpoint.
So let me give you, we have to look at the context of the story. When this was brought to my attention, I just read Exodus 6. I don't want to have to read the whole thing, but if we would go to Exodus 5, and Exodus 5 is really talking about, so this was illustrated to me real well. Let's see how many verses. I'm going to try to read it real quick before we get to Exodus 6. And that maybe will help you get a better clue. And afterwards, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, "Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness." And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go." And they said, "The God of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey unto the desert, and sacrifice unto the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword." And the king of Egypt said unto them, "Wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their and the king of Egypt said unto them, "Wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their works? Get you unto your burdens." And Pharaoh said, "Behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens." And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, "Ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, as heretofore. Let them go and gather straw for themselves." That's an interesting. I have to pause and think when I hear that, because I hear that in this day and time. "And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get you straw where you can find it, yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. So none of your work, you still have to produce the same amount of work. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all of the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the masters hasted them, saying, fulfill your works, your daily task, as when there was straw. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, therefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick, both yesterday and today, as heretofore. All right. I want to see if I want to skip some of this. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, wherefore dealest thou thus with the servants? There is no straw given unto thy servants, and they say to us, make brick. And behold, their servants are beaten, but the fault is in thine own people. But he said, ye are idle, ye are idle. Therefore ye say, let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord. God, go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of the brick. All right. Yeah, this is the part I wanted to get to. And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case after it was said. What in the world did it mean by that? And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case. They were in evil. It's in italics, case. So that means that the word, they filled that in. After it was said, ye shall not diminish out from your bricks of your daily task. I'm going to stop there. What do you all hear that saying? That part where it says, and the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case. Were these officers first? Are these officers Egyptian? Or are these officers Israelites? Go ahead.
I don't know, but I assumed they were Egyptian.
I think I was originally thinking that they were Egyptian, but as it looks like to me when you read it, some of the stuff that I read prior to that verse, sounds like they're actually appointed Israelites that are leaders over. They're appointed Israelites. Some of them are Israel, and they're appointed trying to make sure that the people produce a certain amount of straw. They do have some Egyptians that are over them. That's almost how it sounds to me. I don't know if that's how everybody else sounds, but it would make an interesting point if that's the case. I would read in, and they met Moses and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came forth from Pharaoh. And they said unto them, now this is why I say, then listen to this is why I say these officers are Israelites. And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case. After it was said, ye shall not diminish aught from your bricks or your task. These officers are the ones that went to Pharaoh and told them, hey, you're not giving us enough straw to do this. Why are you doing that? And so Pharaoh basically said, because you guys are idle. They're idle and all of that. And the way that verse sounds is that the people, the officers began to believe or feel guilty after Pharaoh pointed out. So they started acknowledging, yes, we are idle. That's how it sounds. Now, I don't know if that's how it sounds to everybody else. So I'm going to read on. And they meet Moses and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came forth from Pharaoh. Now, these are the officers that are over them that are meeting with Moses and Aaron. And they say unto them, the Lord look upon you and judge you, because ye have made our savor to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. It sounds like the officers are still talking and saying this, which the voice of it sounds like they are Israelites. All right. That's one point I want you to pay attention to, because we read that in the 6th verse. So now, and Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, now first of all, the people are now going to Moses and they're saying to Moses, you caused us to have more weight. You think you're doing us some good, but when you and Aaron went to Pharaoh and you said this, let my people go, they saw us as being idle and they gave us more of a task and made our task harder. And they beat us and they threatened us with the sword because of what you did. Now imagine what Pharaoh is feeling. Now, I was not intending to put this in this, but if we're going to talk about gifting, now Moses he was raised in Pharaoh's house. Now let's talk about gifting. He was raised in Pharaoh's house. Number one, he had a traumatic event that happened. The traumatic event was that they went through and they were slaughtering all of the children. And so his mother had to put him in a basket. And Pharaoh's daughter found Moses, and she took him in to mother him. And so Moses' mother is as a concubine to her. And so Pharaoh's daughter gets Moses' mother to feed, because she actually had him, so she carried milk. So she got him to feed. All right. And so he's raised in Pharaoh's house. He's experiencing the things that Egyptians experience. Pharaoh took him in, so to speak, as a son or a grandson. So he gets some privileges, so to speak, that the Israelites don't have. He's not having the tasks that the Israelites have because he's raised in this house. We're talking about gifting now. Why did this happen? So I'm saying again, the tragedy is that they're slaughtering children. And the reason why they're starting to slaughter the children is because Israel is beginning to increase rapidly, and they're starting to they will outgrow the Egyptians. They're growing faster than the Egyptians are. I got so many thoughts that are coming to my mind when I talk about this. For one, slavery happened in America. After that period of time, during the civil rights and all during that period of time, the growth of blacks were rapid, and it was an increase. They were growing. It was causing them to grow real fast. So many children. And what was happening was the growth of the white America had stopped and went into a more dormant. So meaning they were not having that many children, all of that, and they really weren't having children. So you start seeing this race really growing. All right, so there's some points in that. So Pharaoh, so anyway, they start growing, and in order to stop it from growing, they start saying we're going to make them slave, serve, all of those kind of things. But also we need to start cutting off their young, and especially their young men, so that they would stay a small group of people, so that they would always be in service to us. Moses comes through, they start saying, let the people go, let them go worship God, all of that. And Pharaoh then says, look, they are idle. And now these people are at a point of saying, listen, he caused us to have to carry more weight. And they have a problem with Moses. Now, Moses then is going to go to God and watch how he talks to God. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, interesting how it wrote that if you read it, because it says, and Moses returned unto the Lord. That Lord is capital letter. So if you were to look at it in Hebrew, it's really Yahweh. He returned unto Yahweh and he said, Lord, and that Lord is, the L is capitalized, but everything else isn't. And that says something. It says, wherefore hast thou so evil entreated this people? God, why did you let this happen? I did what you told me to do. Why did you let this happen? Why is it that thou hast sent me? That's what he asked him. For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he hath done evil to this people, neither hast thou delivered thy people at all. Then the next verse. Then the Lord said unto Moses, now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of this land. And God spake unto Moses and said unto him, I am the Lord. That means Yahweh. I am Yahweh. Why is he stressing this point? And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of El Shaddai. That's how I appeared unto them. But by my name Yahweh was I not known to them. And so we start seeing, how did Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob see? Now, the topic is fair and just. The part of what we're covering right now is fair and just. When you say Yahweh, when we say Yahweh, there's a difference between the two. So it's almost like saying, this is just, I'm not saying it's this is what El Shaddai is yet, but it means Almighty, God Almighty. El means God, the other part means Almighty. But if you could say they knew him as is from a distance, they understood and they saw God, let's say, as a patriarch. Now, God is a patriarch, but I'm saying in the lowercase. They saw, or he's a father, but they saw him almost as if he were the type of God that you need to respect. As if today we say, God, will you do this for me? Instead of saying, God, do this. We don't talk to God and say, God, do this, because we feel like it's disrespectful. So we are being respectful and we ask God to do something. That's El Shaddai. Because God, only Yahweh, is a commanding voice. It's a strong voice and it's a very commanding voice. And Yahweh only answers to command. Do you understand? Are you getting the picture? El Shaddai is a little further away. El Shaddai is as if you're talking and we're asking God to do us something. We're saying, God, would you do this for me? Would you please do this for me? And I'm talking about fairness. And then I think Nate tied it in. Fairness, in one sense, is, how did I say it? It's having an expectation without putting any effort. That's one way of saying it. That's one way of saying it. So I'm not going to put any effort. That person over, Nate tied that in. That person over there got this, and they got treated like this. And I deserve the same treatment because I'm a human being too. So treat me with fairness like you treated him, just because he got treated that way. And it's not that I put any effort in, but because you doing somebody else like this, I should be doing that way too. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Was that fair, or what's the challenges to what I said before I go any further? Unfair. What I'm describing fair as. When we talk about El Shaddai is more or less how the Christian world today understands God. They understand El Shaddai. The Christian world does not know Yahweh. They approach God as if he is fair. They don't approach God as if he is just. Because when you understand that God is just, it is a commanding sound. It's not a matter of asking. You would say, where is, who is it, Elijah? The Lord, part this water so I can walk on it. And the other one came back through and said, where is the God of Elijah? And he struck the water and it parted. That's Yahweh. Understanding the difference between Yahweh and El Shaddai. Now, when you want to look at fairness and just, it's very interesting if you read on into, if you put all of that story together. Because, first of all, let me read on a little bit in that chapter. It said, and I have also established my covenant with them. That means Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give them the land of Canaan. Interesting part here, the land of their pilgrimage, wherein they were strangers. They were strangers. Now, wait a minute. Was God fair? Is he just? Is he fair? What is it? There were some people already in that land. In order for them to be a stranger, there were some people already in that land before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob got there. What did God do? Did he just snatch it from them and say, hey, you don't deserve this? I'm going to give it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see, just means that if you put the work in, he will always give according to the work that you have put in. Just means that if I made some sacrifices here, it's inevitable that he is going to do this and he's going to give you this according to the work that you put in. That means just. But today, oftentimes, we have not put in any work and we're asking God. That's fair. We're asking God to change and do things. So the reason why the children of Israel were to inherit the land of Canaan was based off of God being just. And the work that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did, they are now the recipient of that. God shows his justice by saying, this land, the land of Canaan, I have established this for you. Am I making sense?
I don't understand how that still doesn't relate to being fair. Like, I can understand it being just in the sense of you've done the work, so put it in. But I don't understand how that also doesn't represent fair. I don't think, at least in my understanding of the word fair, that fair means you just ask for things without doing things. So is it just like a translation? Like maybe I'm understanding the word differently, or I don't know if I'm missing something in your explanation.
Okay, Nate, the difference is almost the way that I am using fair is, listen, when I say just means just, if you use the word just, it is a command. It's a commanding voice. So if you listen, because you're going to hear the Hebrew, that's what you're missing, the Hebrew of it. Michael said that just is, what was it, Michael? Something law.
Administering.
Administrating law. If you say administrating law, listen to the aggressiveness of that. And so when you say administrating law, that means that what goes up must come down. There's a law there. So if I throw something up, what is going to be administered is it's going to come down. And I'm going to use it, say it in that sense, but I'm trying to get you to hear the tone because it is nowhere near in the area that we're used to hearing it from a Greek perspective. Just is aggressive. Law is very aggressive. Law is very strong. Law is not passive. Law does not, when you hear law, law does not consider anything. It says this is what it is and this is what you have to do. Listen to the sound. Now, if I use the word fair, it means that I can, with the law, I can say, and finagle with it and lighten the law. It's not strong. I'm trying to say it a whole nother way. The word fair is not strong. When you say Yahweh, it's talking about something strong, something commanding. So when you're going to God, you're not asking God as if he is fair. Because if I'm asking God as if he's fair, I'm going to be saying, God, would you do this for me? Or I'm going to say, well, I said it before, I am trying not to be disrespectful to God because we are taught that being we're taught that it is improper to tell God or a father what to do. Now, you have to read into all of what I'm saying. You have to read into that. It's improper. If it's a father, you must ask him with respect. You can't say, go over there and do this, Dad. Your dad would then say, boy, who you talking to? All right. That I'm describing the word fair when I do that. So you would not say, go over here and do this, Dad. You would say, listen to what Michael said. He said the other definition of fair, he said he kind of just went over it because the definition of fair was a woman's, in other words, it dealt with a woman. She's beautiful. Is that strong? Or if you say she's fair, is that less than? Or does it mean the same? Listen, that's Hebrew. I'm dealing with the Hebrew concept, the language of Hebrew. So when you say fair, it's less than beautiful. Elohim, El Shaddai is less than Yahweh. If you see him as El Shaddai, you will not have a beautiful voice. You will have a fair voice. If you see him as El Shaddai. Did that make sense, Nate?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think what you're saying is, well, I guess I was challenging to see if there's any justification for ever using fair. Like, does fair have its proper context and when this is now the proper time to use it?
TJ, you gonna answer? You gonna say something?
Yeah, I was, because I didn't speak before when you asked us if we thought your definition of fair was fair, because I didn't want to derail the conversation. But it's interesting. I think that we misuse the word justice just as much as we misuse the word fair. So when you talk about a Greek understanding of both of those words, I don't want to over apply, but I think my mind, when you first mentioned the two, it made me think of when you talk about, and I think you and Michael have talked about it and given hints of it. But when you talk about commandment and law, lamp and light, justice and fairness have that same sort of relationship. One of the verses that came to my mind, and I think that you know it more than I do, because I'm almost positive it's in Proverbs 11. It might be in 12, but I randomly came across this verse, and it says that, and something like an unjust balance, I think an unjust balance is an abomination to the Lord, and
A just weight. Yes.
just weight. So yeah,
A false
something like
balance, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
delight. And in that verse, I think delight is more like fair in the neutral sense. So the delight part of it, if that makes sense. You have the justice and then you have the delight. I think how I would bring it into how people use it is when you talk about fair, we think of fair as what is pleasing to us, meaning what would make us feel good, what is pleasing. So we put what is
That's what I was hearing.
we put what that is we
Yes.
put what is pleasing to us first rather than justice. Instead of being pleased with the rendering of justice, as I would say would be more or less the natural order, we put our idea of justice or what would be pleasing to us first. And I know that kind of muddled things up, but in any case, I would say that is what came to my mind in maybe more of a neutral sense of the relationship between justice and fairness. And it's again, Michael talked about it with fairness being related to a woman, kind of like the ideas you've talked about, Uncle Tracy, lamp and a light, or commandment and a law, and understanding that order is what makes both things operate as they should, or express themselves as they should.
Very, very good. It was not saying that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not know him. It was saying, in essence, they knew him as if you were to say, not the law and the light, or however, I can't remember how I normally say that, but they did not see him as Yahweh. They saw him as El Shaddai, which is related to fair. But it didn't mean they didn't have a relationship with him. But he is graduating from fair to Yahweh, command. If you, just that little part, if you get that, man, it will open up so many pictures in just that part of the story that I read. So, for instance, God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go. And Pharaoh, he did not ask Pharaoh, would you let people go? He told him, he commanded, let us go so that we can go here. And Pharaoh denied the command. And so as the story goes on, Moses goes back again. And we're talking about a gifted man. He goes back again. And the same thing happens. Let us go. And he keeps on doing that. And no. Pharaoh's constantly saying no. He's not going to. There are times, I'm talking about when he sent the plagues. And there were times where Pharaoh would say, okay, wait a minute. It is putting too much pressure on me. It's putting too much pressure. I'm going to let him go. And then he would pull back and he's after a while said, nah, I'm not letting him go. And he kept on doing that. But when you use, again, and this is a different word, when you use the word faith, it's that part where Pharaoh is Moses is not giving up on the work. He is continually, even though he is being resisted, he's going to go back. And when you tell me no again, I'm going to go back. When you tell me no again, I'm going to go back. Now, this is a side note, and it connects to this story. That experience. This is a side note. Some of you might think and why did he say that? It's what a woman goes through when she has a child. Again, that is the experience of contraction. And it's the experience of faith, that consistent not giving up until that child is born. And women go through that when they have a child. And so the story, again, I shared this, this part of the story, when you really hear what's happening about Pharaoh not letting them go, all of those things, you're hearing the story of a birth. And so every time Pharaoh says no and he says yes, it's a contraction. And each time he does it, he feels like he's gonna have the baby, so to speak, and then it subsides. And then he feels it and it subsides. And he gets to the point to where he, with great force, boom, pushes the child out. That's what's happening in the story. It's a birth. It's a miraculous birth. And later on in scripture, some of the prophecies you're going to hear about God talking to the children of Israel, saying that I found you a child that nobody wanted, and I took you in, and I clothed you. So you're still talking about a birth. And Egypt is the mother. And God implanted a seed inside of Egypt, and it expanded and grew to the point to where it would destroy the mother if it was not let free. You're hearing that in the story of the children of Israel being let free. Now, we're still talking about that. It's a beautiful picture there, and it all connects to gifting, it connects to all of that. Moses had to go through the wilderness, and there was a point of time when Moses saw two Egyptians striving with each other, and he went over there to break it up, and he slew one or something to that degree. And there were some Israelites that saw Moses do that. And so then when he sees two Israelites beginning to fight and he goes to correct it, they go and they say, are you going to do us kill? You going to murder us like you did that? And so Moses had to go into the wilderness. And he had to get a different perspective than what he had. He had to go through and he had to begin to see God from Yahweh. And he had to see it. This is Yahweh. He had to see that. He was not able until he got to that point. He was not able to go and challenge and stick there and the fact and all of that, what he did with Pharaoh, unless he went through that change. And he went through that challenge. There was no way he would have been able to stand with Pharaoh at that time. And up against that, we're talking about qualifications. We're talking about Moses being born, and that the fact that he was in Pharaoh's house began to, and he did not, and it may look glorious in one sense, but he did not experience what the Israelites experienced per se. He did not experience that. But then God had to take him through the wilderness to where he experienced that. He experienced something in such a way that he was able then to relate to those people in that bondage. And if he did not, and he were not able to relate, there would have never been, he would have, after Pharaoh said no, and he would have saw what Pharaoh was doing, putting pressure, he would have backed up and he would have said, no, 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 I don't want to cause no more damage than that. You see, when God qualifies a gift, he makes it commanding. He makes it powerful and commanding. And he feels it, as the New Testament scripture says, one part says, according to the grace, and it relates to gifts according to the grace. There's another part that talks about gifts according to the faith. The grace part, to me, has to do with Pharaoh going into, Moses being put in a basket, being separated. And then the Lord allowed him to have his mother. But he did not necessarily, in my mind, she was only there to nurse him. But who mothered him, who took him in as a mother, was Pharaoh's daughter. Anytime something like that happens, it's traumatic. It's better for our children to be raised by their actual parents. That's the first option. Than for them to be raised by a stranger. And Moses was raised by a stranger. But I feel like his mother was able to nurse him and she was able to work with him some, but she didn't have all of those privileges. She had to be very careful to keep it unknown that she is the mother of this child. She had to keep it a secret. There's some trauma in there. This is where I believe grace applies, but when you say faith, it's what you go through in the wilderness that develops that. That develops that part that makes you stay, even when someone says no. Even when you say, let my people go, it makes you stay. The real work of God is not, when we say gift, all of the gifts working together are designed to tear down principalities, tear down wickedness and evil in dark places. Every gift working together, that's what it's for. It's not for your pleasure. It's to set people free. It's to teach what the law really is. It's not for you to beat on your chest just to say, I got this. Let me explain something. Every gift, no matter what a gift, whatever a gift that a person has, the way we can look at it, so I admire his gift. He has this ability. Every gift has to have a certain amount of qualification of suffering. So Moses, if you're going to lead like this, you're not going to be liked by people. That's a part of the gift. If you have the gift of healing or you're doing something like that, then you must you must go through feeling or being sick as that person you're trying to heal. It ain't, I just got to get the healing, but I have not experienced what they're feeling. Every gift is qualified like that. And as you're working that gift, you will still feel that same thing. It's not one of those things that you would say, man, I'm glad I got this. Real gifting ain't that way. Real gifting is not one of those things you say, I'm real glad I got this gift. Because it means you're going to be hated. It means that you got to suffer to be able to relate. No matter what your gift is. And it don't mean that I'm just going to suffer today. Now I have the gift and I ain't suffering no more. You're going to suffer it all the way through until you die. That's how a gift works. And Moses had to be not like, he had to go through them saying, I told him let the people go. And now the people are looking at me like this. And the people are constantly chiding Moses in the wilderness because he got a gift. It ain't a glorious thing. It's not one of those things you just go, man, I got this gift. Somebody asked something, Nate, you asked something. I won't go through all the details just in your text. I did look at the video that you sent me about 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to fully address it. Davier has heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about how people want to be a prophet so bad. But in order for a prophet to prophesy, he must experience some of the harshest things in life before he can open his mouth. One prophet had to marry a whore, and his wife kept on cheating on him in order for him to prophesy. Another one carried a yoke about his neck for several years before he could open his mouth and express whatever he had to express. All prophecy, every prophet has to suffer before he opens his mouth. And in order to prophesy, you have to know the Torah. No prophecy, no prophet just prophesied from the top of his head. He didn't just use simple tuition. Tuition is a thing. Tuition, women are very gifted with it. But it is put in a category and is used a certain way. I don't necessarily put tuition in an area of gift, in the area of a personal gift. Now, we're talking about gifts. I put tuition in the area when I use it a gift, I put it as a categorical gift, meaning women. It is not a personal gift, but it's something that God has given women. Men have some intuition. But if you look what women have, they just got a lot. Now, if a woman's emotional state is unhealthy, she can still have tuition and she can still see and still feel. But if her emotional state is unhealthy, her is not sound. If you are going to prophesy, it must be that your emotional state is intact. That is law. I'm sharing some of these things to show how we see gifting and how we minimize it as just these little abilities that I have. And abilities and giftings are different. All right, I'll stop there. Go ahead, Jay. You got something?
Well, to just tie off your last point, when you talk about it's law to have an emotional balance to prophesy, I think the script. I don't know who it was, but when the lady's following the disciples, and she's saying all the right stuff, she knows what she's talking about, but she's still told no. Right? That would just be that first thing, but it's kind of like what CJ said. I don't want to convolute it, but how I see fair would almost be when you talk about El Shaddai. That's more so how I see fair. So if you hear me, so when you talk about this is more so the Christian perspective today that we have. That's why I say it, because what you see in Genesis is a picture of fairness that not a lot of people agree with. It's not fair for him to put that tree right there. It's not fair for a woman to be subjective to it. It starts to do those things that I think CJ was kind of touching on, pleasurable to us. What we have concluded on without. So again, without that necessary challenge part. And just why I'm bringing it up is these are the first thing that you showed me that really started to unlock some of these things was agreement or anointing. And I'm still kind of trying to deal with fair because you brought up the point, did Jesus die for everyone? That type of thing. As you bring up these points, it starts to get very interesting that, like what you said, you have to have the foundational, you have to have the Torah, you have to have this part because, and it's almost, I'm trying to slow it down because it's so much information. But it's like, again, so Genesis 1 starts the same way as the New Testament starts. So Genesis 1 and John 1, exact same thing. But like you're saying with fairness and justice are just like that type of thing. It's two distinct dispensations of one gift, the Father of lights, of whom there is no variableness of changing. That type of structure that the Bible can't contradict itself, whether we agree that this is fair to implement as law or not. Okay. Yeah, so why I was saying all that is because, again, it's like El Shaddai, knowing him from that perspective. How I kind of see it is, again, water, right? So the water. And why I say that is because even with where our brains can go with the ocean, you can explore water, but you'll never, ever get to the depths of it. You'll never be able to know water. But what we say with fire is a little bit different. If, for me, when I say like fire being with justice, like fire is a little bit different. If you touch some fire, you know what fire feels like. If you touch the sun, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Now, again, I get you can't touch it. That's not the point, man. Anyway, really seeing the differences, right? Because it's like, so it starts with one, it starts with Adam. And again, it's kind of like what you're saying. Fair allowed, and this is where it gets hard, right? Because it allowed the mother to be the first voice that you hear. And again, this is where a lot of people are pushing away from Christianity based off of how it's presented. That again, the woman, it was Eve's fault. And you start to get the negative patriarchal side without really understanding, again, what you're saying and what makes a gift. Because these are points that, like CJ will talk about them like this, that God didn't know, you know what I mean? Like he didn't know what was going to happen as we think about knowledge, that it's like, I knew you were going to do that. That's not how he knows. How he knew was by stepping down. And this is, again, where it starts to, for me, you start seeing how fairness the justice of it implements and okay, yeah. If I can slow it back down, just the point of what I was trying to say is that when you read the Bible, it's like what you're saying with the contractions. When you bring it up like this too, the highest point or the deepest point is through contrast. So again, fire and water. That it seems that God just had an expectation, and He never would put Himself in the shoes of man. He distanced Himself a certain way, and then again, it's like once you hear Yahweh and the voice that is the silent point, the point that is never going to leave you, and you talk about suffering, that type of thing, that it's kind of like, again, I think it's in Genesis, it talks about where to be the glory of him. And like that, yeah. So I guess just all of what I was trying to say would be that with where we're starting with Greek. We're starting with the and I'm not, it gets hard, but the language that we have to use to try to express today is one that is from a very affectionate place, one that there is room to disagree. We can agree to disagree, that you can have your church over there and I'll have my church over here. And if you have things like that, this is where we get the voting system. We get things that which comes first, the chicken or the egg, and you'll never find the agreement, because those have never been the points. The point where it's like, again, the law shall not depart from Judah. Like, it starts doing things like that. Yeah, it's again, it's so much, and it would just take too long to. But these are just some of the points that you start seeing why we've gotten further and further, and we're saying now the world's going to end in a chaotic place where it's like that can't be if that's not how it started. But again, when you read it, the earth was formless and void, and yeah, so this has been a very good talk, and there are a lot of good pieces that, as we come every week, we're building these little pieces. So you've even talked about pioneering. That was kind of the point of Moses today. Like, what does it actually mean? The feelings that go in with pioneering, especially if you're in a land that you don't know. You know what I mean? Like you have no idea, quote unquote, what's left, what's right, what's good, what's bad. You're just going off of the natural instincts. But it's been an interesting talk.
Thank you, Jen. You hit a home run with that. You said a lot of good, real good pieces in there. People, because the level of God, the level of God being taught is El Shaddai, not very many people develop their gifting correctly. But if you teach it and it is taught from Yahweh, I think that more people will develop it much quicker and faster if you teach it from Yahweh. If you teach Yahweh, if you see, this is one of the massive problems to me, I'm sorry, but Christianity fights confidence. Christianity promotes, to me, how do I describe it? I've said it to Crystal in a different way. If you go to college versus someone that doesn't go to college, what gets promoted is those who go to college. But it excludes those who don't. In essence, I'm not doing a good job. I've shared this with you. This is why I say, let me say it another way. I don't care if you went to school for psychology. I bet you what I got will trump it. Now I'm saying it from a very confident, very commanding voice, not a proud, look at me. I am saying, I believe I don't believe this is my thinking. Don't mix confidence with this. I don't think every time I run into someone to work with, I have the answers. But confidence is I can get them. Do you understand? Confidence is I know I can get the answers. But what we teach almost confidence is knowing. A scholar is not someone who knows. A scholar is someone who knows how to get the answers. And whenever there's a problem that arises, he studies to get the answers. That's a real scholar. See, Jalen hit some points when he was saying the depths of the ocean, so to speak, we'll never know. We can't really understand. When we talk about reading the Bible and all of that, it's you can never exhaust it. It's endless. So you don't base my confidence of how much I know about it. I base my confidence of the fact that I have it and I can get the answers. And it doesn't take me long. I know how to get the answers. That's the same thing as saying I know how to make something move. I know how to get the answers. So, but what I think, Nate, what people have made a mistake in one sense is we commend those who know more than we commend those who know how to get the answers. I think that someone who went to school for psychology got some knowledge, meaning they got some stuff up here that I'm using knowledge in the Greek sense. They got information up here now that they can use and they practice that information. They learn some as they go. The way I look at it, I think college what college really should do is give you a base. It just helps you, it gives you just a little base. And then from that base, it helps you grow. You still have to gather more information as you're doing your work. The best college is really life experiences. The best college is going through something and studying it as you're going through it. It's more valuable. The best college is what I said, suffering and being able to relate to situations and people and understand what they feel as you have gone through that college. Because you've gone through that college, that's the best college. And you might run into a different situation. You might have to deal with someone. All I'm used to dealing with is people who are bipolar. I've never dealt with someone who is this. But I have a base and I know where the answers are. Just off of the top of my head, Jalen got a memory problem. If we go to work, I can tell Jalen, I can show Jalen how to do something today, and tomorrow I have to show him again. And the next day I have to show him again, and the next day I have to show him again, and the next day I have to show him again. He won't remember. One of the problems that I've had that I relate to Jalen in is that when I read my Bible, if I I will not remember it. I can't remember. But the benefit of that is that something is always being renewed. It's never stale with me. Always renewed. I'm not basing it off of what I remember. I'm basing it off of what it is speaking to me now. I tell people that if you want to remember, if I'm giving some information and it's good, you're going because if you come back to me in a few days or weeks, I'm not going to remember. Randall came to me this week and said, this is what you said. That's the only way I remembered it. But I don't remember. I don't retain that information. A lot of the stuff that I say, I don't retain it. And I looked at it as a negative thing. But I started understanding that it left room and space for me to gather more information and gather more information and gather more information. Because the more that I stick in my head and remember, the less information I gather. So those are assets to a gift. The fact that Jalen doesn't remember is not a bad thing. It's an asset, but it starts showing him what his limitations are and where he should be. It's directional, the fact that I can't remember. It's that now, the stuff that I have said, Jalen just gave you a brief of all of the stuff, a lot of the stuff that I said, and he remembered, and he can hold that and retain that stuff. But when it comes down to physical, he can't retain nothing. That's God. That's by design. God did that. It's not, that's not the gift yet. It's not, but that's leading to it. That's a part of it. He gave you those pieces for a reason. And he gave the fact that you can't remember. I'm just using Jalen as an example. We all have them. Things that we might see negative because of the low level that Yah is actually being taught. It actually pulls away from confidence, but confidence is not a hard thing to develop. I think that is the more, I think the more people walk in Yahweh, the more confident they become. The more you walk in the other areas, it does not establish you. That's how I would say it.
If I could interject real quick, I think that was really interesting. A lot of my thoughts this past week, month have been about the abstract versus the physical and how it's really switched. And I thought there was a verse that really highlighted some of the things that you and Jalen were saying that I came to my mind. It was Proverbs 18 and 13. And it says that he that answereth the matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. And thinking about how so much of our society is based off of precognition or knowing something before you come into a situation to be able to handle that situation better, when it has never been about precognition or knowing before. It is about being able to assess correctly, see correctly, and gather information. It was never about gathering a wealth of knowledge just to hold on to it.
Well said, Micaiah. And to me, you give a good description of confidence.
I have something that won't leave my mind, and it's making it hard to keep following, so I got to get it off my chest. Religion more or less teaches women not to stir up shit in the house, basically, but men need the challenge. This is part of the woman's gifting. That's why her emotional state is there. She's picking up on something. She may not understand what it is, and it is up to the man to interpret her what she's sensing. But grace, the way religion was teaching is you keep peace in the house. No, men need to be challenged.
Again, my thoughts on it. I hear you saying that you're understanding order and how to what comes first. A lot of times, I understand that when you ask somebody that what they want out of life, they want to be happy or they want to be successful, not understanding that that is a secondary effect of a foundation that has been established. It is not. So through your intuition, you're being vulnerable with how you feel, the happiness or the quietness, the stability of the marriage is born. You don't just have no pain and then have a baby. There are always the pain and the contractions and the labor, and then the baby is born that brings about the continuation or the peace in the relationship.
Well, I was gonna say that, Sherry, I would agree with you that the church definitely teaches women not to stir things up, and I think that there's something helpful in that. But I also think that there can be something incomplete about that. So I think that I can speak for myself. In my time of being in the church, I learned a lot of really unhealthy behaviors and ideas that seemed healthy and helpful. And when I left the church, I kind of took the approach of throw the baby out with the bathwater, just throw it all away, start over. And I don't regret that. However, what I'm finding is I'm getting the chance to build from the ground up more complete, what the more complete picture is. So it's not just, I think we talked about this one week. I can't remember when it was, but if we understand that the church often teaches women not to stir stuff up, it doesn't necessarily mean that the natural answer is to just go and stir stuff up. Because now I'm in truth, I'm in Torah, I understand the Hebraic perspective, so I can stir stuff up. I don't even think that as a woman I can see clearly enough to know when my emotions or whatever are the right challenge for the man that I'm with. I feel like only he can really determine that. And I've made the mistake multiple times of thinking that, no, this is good for you. This is my emotions and all the stuff that's going on. This is a good challenge for you. And I've just learned maybe in the last year or so that it's not my place to determine what the right challenge is for him. And 9 times out of 10, the challenges that he really needs, I would not even know that that's the challenge that he needs. It wouldn't even be on my radar. And it is on my radar. It isn't. So I think, man, that's. I will just stop there.
Very well said, Davier.
There's a question I had about the verses that were read earlier. It was mentioned that Moses addressed Yahweh as El Shaddai when he first came to talk to him. And I was wondering why he addressed him as El Shaddai, knowing that he had already introduced himself to Moses as Yahweh.
But you're saying where that in the 5th chapter, where he does the lowercase Lord. Um, I don't know if I have a full answer to that. I think that it is possible that Moses was still, in essence, being respectful, but it was very interesting to me why, you know, when you read that passage, it God is speaking and he says, I mean that it says Yahweh, and then when Moses says that, he says he does it in an El Shaddai note. Um, yeah, I think that is very well possible that Moses, in essence, is still being respectful, and that God is being very reminding to Moses that, because when you get into the 6th chapter, he basically tells him, they knew me as this, but you know me as this. You know me as Yahweh. Um, so I don't really have a full answer to that, but it's an interesting point. But see, when Moses went and he saw that burning bush, that was Yahweh. When that bush was burning like that, that's Yahweh. So he was introduced to Yahweh before this point.
I don't know. To me, it reminds me of marriage and how a husband and wife can address each other. And it seems like there's a story in the Old Testament that God chooses certain people to live in understanding a more intimate relationship with Him than the El Shaddai relationship, which seems to be everybody else except for Levi's uh, group or Moses and the prophets and judges and stuff like that, people that He selects. And Job really kind of talks about that from what I can see. And I feel like Moses, like you said, was trying to be respectful, but God is saying to us, He is saying to Moses that you have to mature past this point. You are closer to me than you think that you are. And so you need to act accordingly.
Yes. Yes, good. That's good stated. Because that's how I have felt at different times. And when I'm talking to some of you, I try to tell you, you're past that point. But you're almost reverting back to this, but you're past that point. Anybody else?
I had a question that was similar to Micaiah's, if I heard him right. And part of what it made me think about was the verse that talks about, for now we see in part. It reminds me of that in one sense, even maybe from more of a, I don't know quite how to describe it, but
Very good point, CJ.
when you talk about how we see God, well, it reminded me of when you when you talked about the church, because one of the things that I wanted to share before when Randall first started is, when we were talking about justice and fairness, there are things that we experience, things that create certain pet peeves or things that we want to correct. And that doesn't mean, or that doesn't equal justice. So that's part of why the verse had come to my mind about a false balance, meaning that if we are not careful, we will misunderstand what God's justice should bring about, because it's really something that it is the only thing that brings restoration. Because one last descript. So I guess to complete one thought, that one thought is I've become a lot more aware of those things that I have almost tried to overcorrect or the things that I have experienced that understanding how to apply those experiences. It's like understanding my suffering and what it's supposed to bring about, sort of idea, and how to act from that point within God's justice, if that makes sense. The second small point is that I think the chapter that shows Solomon's judgment is a great illustration of what we were talking about with justice and fairness, and also the misunderstanding of justice and fairness, as well as the true order of justice and fairness. So that's probably confusing. But first, I would say that between the two women, and I think this ties into Darvier's point about the issues between men and women, equality, or between black and white. In that story, there was a clear distinction between the women as to who truly wanted justice and who wanted fairness, and her understanding or her idea of fairness. And I think that in any case, that is one illustration of when we're talking about the neutral of those words, and then how we try to apply them.
Very good. Some of what you said reminds me of yesterday. They had men's Bible study, and that's where the original question came from. He asked, "Is God fair?" Then one of the questions that he asked, which was very interesting, was, "Do you feel?" This is connecting to what CJ said. Do you feel like, as Black people, America owes you? Does America owe Black people? He asked that question, and it was a young guy that, he was probably 14, 15, sitting next to me, and he shook his head. No, nobody else answered. Nobody. Everybody was just kind of, and then he said, yeah, yeah. And, Pastor was like, yeah, we really believe in behavior. In behavior, we try, if we say, I understand the details of it, but if we are fighting for 40 acres and a mule is not justice. It's not justice. If we're fighting for sometimes equal rights, a certain way we're fighting for fairness. We're not necessarily looking for justice. Justice takes work. So what you see what Martin Luther King did, and when he was doing that, and the challenges, that's gifting. When he's doing all of that, that's justice. That's justice. And so, in other essence, he was killed for justice. To me, it goes into one of Crystal's pet peeves, even things like saying, they died, these men marched and died for us to vote. That to me is fairness. But when we really, really vote, why we vote, though I'm not trying to go through that again, but why we vote, if I'm going to vote, I voted one time. And of course, you all know that it was the first time that Barack Obama ran, and I voted for him. I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I am not political at all. But the reason why I voted for him was not because he was Black. I voted for him because I heard him. When I first saw him, I didn't care for him. But he said some things that I heard that was Hebrew. That was the only reason why I voted. And what he said, for an example, some of you heard me say this. What he said was, it was right during the time where we were having economic problems and all of that, and jobs shutting down. And he shared, this is in the middle of it. He said, if you have you working 5 days and you see your brother next to you and he ain't working, he's not working, give up a day. Give up a day. I heard over and over and over points like that he established, that he said that is the biblical base. That's the only reason why. And then I could say he might have said some other things in other areas that would, what he pointed out was the thing that we lack the most in our country is care. He's really pointing out reestablishing care. He was pointing out we have built fences. It was those things that made him vote. We built fences. This is mine. That's yours. You mind your business. I mind mine. Did all of that. So anyway, CJ hit some of the, when he was sharing that, he was really hitting some of the points that I'm trying to remember justice and how we really see it, or fairness, and how we, in our everyday walk, our everyday talk, how we're really dealing with how we try to deal with things from a fair basis. What I'm trying to establish is do the work. What is the work of justice? Do the work. Make the sacrifices, whatever you would call it. And then there is going to be a recipient to those sacrifices. Do the work. Or you can say, yeah, just, you know, because this happened or that happened, I think you should give it to me. And it's saying no. So this goes back to what I said, that oftentimes, I said this to Jalen the other day. I said, do you know that God, that Yah is in control of all the money in the world? And he's in control of it. He's in control of it. Meaning, I'll share a real quick story with you. It's time to go. It's time to go, but I'll share this. I'm trying to make it real quick. I was looking for my first truck, full-size truck. And when I was when I was trying to get my first full-size truck, Beverly was the one that said, we were living in Dallas at the time, and she was the one that said, "Oh, I believe the Lord, God's gonna bless us with a truck." Now we in the Church of God and all of that. And so I'm like, okay. She said it several times, and I took to it. So in short, we went out and looking, we found a good deal on a Dodge, and we went down there, we talked to the guy, and he worked. And I'm going to speed the story of this. All of the story is interesting, but I'm going to speed up to the main point. And so he gave us 3 days. We put some money down, and he gave us 3 days to come up with the money. And we didn't have any money. We had given him $900 down. He asked for 5,000. We gave him 900 down. And he said, "Okay, I'll take your 900. You didn't bring me 5,000. I'll take your 900. If you don't have this money in 3 days, this $900 is mine. You're not getting it back." and we agreed to it. And so after I left that place, I felt like, what did I just get myself into? Because I did not have no way of coming up with $10,000. That's how much the truck was. And I had to come up with $10,000 cash. So, make a long story short, I was driving up to help out in the national camp meeting, and I stopped at my mother-in-law's. I helped out. On my way there, I felt like um, I had this feeling that said, "You got it. I have the money." And I started thinking. I said, how in the world do I have it? I don't have this money. So anyway, I go up there to the national camp meeting. I help do whatever work I had to do. Then I left and I went to my mother-in-law's house, and she had a book on the table. And the book that she had on the table was a Reader's Digest. It was talking about Medgar Evers. I'm not going to go that all. I would go through the whole story, but we're out of time. It was talking about Medgar Evers and how he was shot and killed by Beckwith, and how Beckwith had been acquitted. And it talked about how Medgar Evers' wife said that God told her, promised her that Beckwith would be put in prison. This is 20 years later. 20 years. And she's still trying to get this man put in prison. And it's a real powerful story. But when I finished that story, making a long story, I won't go through the whole story of that. But what happened is he was actually tried 20 years later after the statute of limitation. He was tried and he was put in prison. He actually died there. The man that shot Medgar Evers. And it's a remarkable story of how that happened. One piece of it that was a miracle to me was they had to have the actual bullet that hit him. They pulled, what they did is they got the permission to exhume his body. They pulled his body up. And after 20 years, his body was still intact, like it had never decayed or nothing. And they pulled the bullet out of his body. And it was over and over and over again. There was things like that. So that, when I read that, oh, man, I know I can get this. I'm going to get this truck. And it inspired me. So I get home and I have 2 days. And I say, I got two options. And there are two people I think I can go to. And to make a long story short, I singled out on one person. I went to them and I went in their house and I told them, there's a man that I did work for, old man. And I told him, he asked me what I was there for. I told him I was there because I needed a truck. I told him it was $10,000 and I was wanting him to know if he could help me with that money. And he talked to me in a whole hour about funerals. And then he asked me, what are you here for? And I said again to him, I'm here to get this money because I need a truck. And he talked to me a whole hour about car accidents. And then he asked me again, what are you here for? And I said, I'm here to get this truck because I need some money. And I told him the situation again. And he talked to me a whole hour about family reunions. And then he said, what are you here for? I told him again. The fourth time. We had been there, Beverly sitting in the car for 4 hours. And so I said to him, I told him again. And he said, now, Tracy, my own children don't come and ask me for money. They know better. This is a white man. He said, they know better. He said, the reason why I don't give out money is because if you can't pay it back and all of this, then it creates an enmity in me. It creates an enmity in me and it ruins our relationship. So that's why they know not to come to me for money. And he said, Tracy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the money. And he went next door for 10 hours, for a whole hour and talked to me and wrote out a 10,000 check. And he said, now go get your truck. I told him, I said, I will pay you back. Don't worry about that. Okay, but don't worry about it. And he said, well, what I'll do is I'll charge you 1% interest just to make it business-like. He never charged me 1% interest. I told him I'd pay him back in 2 or 3 months. I didn't pay him back in 2 or 3 months. It was more like 6. And the whole time he told me, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But during that time, God had told me what I don't even like saying God told me. What I was really impressed with was that he has the money. Man is his. Mankind is his. And he knows how to move things in such a way, but what he requires of each one of us is a commanding voice to get it. He requires a commanding voice. And it's that commanding voice that he will answer. That's what it requires. So that's faith, that's confidence, that's all within that, all within that. And that's stuck with me. I have never gone to someone in that same way and asked for money. But that was a building block in my life. And it never left me. And I used that same practice in other areas, but not for money. And what has happened is it has yielded. It's yielded. And there are times where I would tell Bev, the only way we're going to get this, we got to challenge it. It's going to resist us, but we got to challenge it. So I'll leave you with that.